We are concerned about two different kinds of heat-related illnesses. One is called heat exhaustion, the other is heat stroke. Heat exhaustion is very concerning. Heat stroke is a life-threatening emergency. When someone is experiencing heat exhaustion, some of the symptoms may include dizziness, lightheadedness, fatigue, some weakness, maybe feeling a little wobbly in their knees. They're dehydrated. They're still sweating though. Their bodies are able to work through that heat exhaustion. When someone has heat stroke, that's a much bigger problem. Their body temperature is upwards of 104 degrees Fahrenheit to 107 degrees Fahrenheit. They may have slurred speech, confusion, behavior changes. They may lose consciousness. They may have a seizure. So there are some very significant life-threatening concerns that happen with heat stroke. I'm Amy Bollinger. I'm the Education, Outreach, and Injury Prevention Trauma Coordinator for the Adult Trauma Program at Penn State Health Milton S. Hershey Medical Center. So if you recognize that somebody looks like they might be experiencing heat exhaustion, there are several things you can do quickly to bring their body temperature down. Get them out of the sunshine, get them into a shady spot, get them into air conditioning if you can. Strip off some of their clothing. Get them, if they are wearing heavy work boots or wearing heavy shoes, get the shoes and socks off. Strip them down to just one layer of clothing. You can take ice water and put it over their bodies, pour some ice water over their head, over their neck, armpits and groin. Get them some cool water to drink. If they are awake and alert and able to drink, cool water will help cool them from the inside out. For heat stroke, that's a much bigger concern. Those people really need an emergency department. I would call 911 and get some first responders coming to the scene to really help evaluate and assess that person who's experiencing symptoms of heat stroke. When someone is experiencing heat exhaustion or outside in the heat, especially our folks, our citizens who are working outside this time of year, our bodies are designed to make sweat. Sweat is how we cool. In very humid conditions, we are not as effective in sweating as we are in drier temperatures. So we will sweat a lot. We become hot, and you'll see people's heads start to get wet and their hair gets wet. That's because our body's trying to cool us down. Vulnerable populations in this extreme heat include the elderly, infants and small children, as well as adults and children with chronic health conditions. When we talk about chronic health conditions as it relates to heat like this, we're talking about folks with heart problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, breathing problems like asthma, COPD, and emphysema. Those folks really need to take added precautions in this heat and maybe just choose to stay inside in air conditioning. Sure, with liquids we recommend ice water. We recommend water. If you're outside working, a cup of water every 20 minutes, staying well hydrated. If you feel thirsty, you're already late to the game. So what we want you to do is just be very aware that you need to drink water all day. Drink more water than you're used to. Drinks like alcohol and caffeine actually dry us out. So alcohol works against our bodies to cool down. You know, some people like to have a nice cold beer after a day of work. That ice cold beer is going to further contribute to dehydration. So water is really the name of the game. Some people choose electrolyte replacement drinks. If you do that, use that cautiously. We would encourage you to do that if you are sweating profusely, if you've had some sun exposure and some heat exposure, but be cautious about it. Water's always the best. The most important takeaway message of all of this is prevention, what to do beforehand so you don't get into trouble outside in extreme heat, and then what to do if you recognize someone is really struggling. Prevention, some areas of prevention include wearing loose, lightweight, light-colored clothing, staying hydrated. If you're outside working in this heat, you should be drinking at least a cup of water every 20 to 30 minutes. Staying well hydrated, staying cooled off, taking breaks out of the sun, inside, into the shade, or in the air conditioning. If you live in a home that does not have air conditioning, there are cooling centers all across multiple counties in South Central Pennsylvania where you can go to be cooled off or get out of this extreme heat. Check on your elderly neighbors, check on your elderly family members, check on them often. Make sure they're not just muscling through in this awful heat that we're experiencing.